Hi everyone, it's Matthew McKenzie here again. I'd say care activist championing the importance of providing unpaid care and the challenges carers go through. I usually do videos raising awareness of events like Carers Rights Day, mental health awareness days, even focusing sometimes on cancer carers, those who are providing support and care for someone close, perhaps in the family, living with cancer. But this is a slightly different video today. I'm now looking at the importance of community and the focus of why we should model some of the aspects of unpaid caring into the community, hence building the community. So just to give it a quick rundown, what am I going to be focusing on that might make some things of an interest to yourself if you are interested into the importance of community? And if you're not sure what community is, I will touch on that first. That makes sense to do so. But also, when you understand what a community is, then you want to really look into why communities should matter in the first place. And they certainly do. That's what I think. But then where does this link in towards unpaid caring? Oh, that would be the third topic. Then we'll look into why carers actually matter to communities. Uh, a blueprint for compassion, which is one of the central themes for unpaid caring. And then we'll sum that up into carers as community builders. But when you look at it closely, what is the importance of carers and community? Hence, we're trying to tackle the problem of community fragmenting and how can caring communities challenge it, fragmentation. Looking in towards the wider lessons for society as a whole, what you can do to support this idea, and a closing message just to, as mentioned, sum things up. So I'm going to make this lecture fairly quick, to be honest, because I want to sort of put the emphasis that all that I've done in my life really is provide support and care. And it wasn't just about the challenges. Don't get me wrong, they're there, but we would be, I suppose, not paying much attention if we can't see challenges in the community. But before we look at that, I'd like you to examine what a community is. Basically, it's a network. Something I do quite often with the groups that I run. I run them as a form of networking into understanding what brings us together. And usually that is down to shared identity, shared themes, shared norms, and a way of relationships being built on trust. Hence, you won't have much of a community if you don't trust each other. A sense of belonging, a sense of ideals, what we are all working for, being brought into the community, hence belonging, and those shared responsibility. And I've put responsibility in there because unfortunately in communities, not everyone wants to take the responsibility of being part of that community. Communities actually exist in families, or put families first, because obviously a lot of the focus on unpaid caring usually begins in the family. And then it extends to neighborhoods, faith groups, cultural identity, schools, even online spaces. We can't ignore that because with information, shared sense of identity and themes can actually travel through online spaces. Why do communities matter though? Well, to be honest, communities are there to protect us in times of crisis. As I've mentioned before, they give people a sense of belonging and purpose, especially if the community is under attack. Now, a strong community supports the vulnerable, or is meant to, and values every member of that community. I'm not saying these are always the core themes. Sometimes things shift, but we're talking about strong communities. If a community is strong, of course, it's going to protect the vulnerable. The thing is, when communities become weak or fragmented, then there's an increased risk of loneliness, mistrust, and social breakdown. These are the very things that also can impact unpaid carers if they are uh, challenged in their role or struggling in their role, then yes, they will become isolated, lonely, mistrust the system, mistrust health and social care, and this can lead to breakdown in the family, or whether they're providing support to communities are not that much different. So I jumped the gun a bit. I did rush to provide the situation of unpaid carers. I'll repeat this again because this is central to this particular video. Basically, an unpaid carer are those who provide care for relatives, hence those in the family, friends, close friends, I would say, or even the neighbor next door who, I've got to put this in, going through long-term ill health. Now, what carers often do is they usually manage daily needs. If the person who has the long-term ill health, hence could be mental or physical, they're unable to do that themselves. So an unpaid carer may provide or do some cooking, meals, look after their loved one's medication, arrange transport. I didn't put a full list here, but you sort of get the picture. They also provide emotional support and advocate for within health and social systems. It's not just receiving health and social care support, but querying them, giving feedback, and looking to make those systems provide better outcomes, not just for the person that they're caring for, but for the carer themselves. Unfortunately, carers can be often overlooked, but they still keep families and services running, because that's why I mentioned the idea of advocating for better health and social care. And carers are providing a service themselves with what I've mentioned, the daily meals, daily needs, emotional support, and advocacy, and a whole lot more. But then what I've given the picture that we should look at communities and we should look at carers. So what's the connection? Why should unpaid carers matter to communities? Well, look at the numbers. Basically, in the country, the UK, you're hitting 7 million, maybe plus, and not all of them even know that they are carers, but they're everywhere. They're holding households together, getting on with what they're trying to focus on in protecting those that are vulnerable, their loved ones. They're not paid to do it, so their unpaid work strengthens that community resilience. We can't always rely on health and social care services who are under a lot of pressure. And carers show that compassion isn't private, it's also about that public good. If everyone provides care and support to their loved ones, then there is a benefit for that. I'm not saying that it should be that way for everyone. Some people are unable to do this. And it may not be obviously their fault. It's just the resources are just not there, or they're not getting that support. And some people can choose not to provide unpaid care. That is all fine. Carers, in the very role they play, can allow us to build community. And how can this be done? Again, it's not a full on list. This is some of the core themes that I think are the main themes. It's caring for someone is about empathy. If you're caring for someone, you can apply that to caring for something else, hence caring for the community. Recognizing what those community challenges are, recognizing another person's struggle, recognizing what is causing the community to go through difficult situations. But it's not just saying that, we're going to provide care for the community, we're going to build that community. It's how carers actually cope in their caring role. And this takes resilience. This takes coping with caring under pressure, adapting in tough circumstances. It's also about solidarity across differences. Care is given regardless of class, age, race, background. They will continue to do this. They see this as important. They see this as something that we all have in common. Either we will care one day for someone or be cared for. These are the ideals of a strong community. So hence, carers as community builders will connect, and they can connect, and they often do connect with family, neighbors, and health and social care professionals, hence to receive ways of supporting their loved ones better, but also being a critical friend to those health and social care networks. Talking about networks, they create the networks of support where none has existed before. Because of that caring role, they help by reducing isolation. Unpaid carers make communities more cohesive. Hence, the role they're not even paid to do, but the unpaid role is a foundation of that philosophy, of that focus of social care. So in regards to caring communities, what is the challenge? Why is it so important in regards to fragmentation, which is the challenge to community, where fragmentation can actually lead to fear of the other, blame, unjust blame, and mistrust of the other. And all these things, and I'm sure many more, just I can't really fit in the video or the lecture, can actually destroy communities from within. Carers model in another way. They build on trust, reciprocity, and connection, being connected to each other. When communities adopt that carer mindset, they resist division and radicalization. They resist those challenges and become stronger communities on that model by itself. So what are the wider lessons for such societies that look into the model of caring for the community? So I'm saying this from what I've learned anyway throughout my life as someone trying to provide forms of care. If you have learned from carers, communities would obviously check in on your neighbors regularly, share those challenges, share those burdens, rather than just leaving others isolated. And I'm not really just talking about those that are going for ill health. I'm just saying, in a sense, perhaps connecting with others. And it's not really a burden, to be honest. I know this can be a keyword that can be linked to the caring role as challenging and forever suffering. But there are advantages to providing unpaid care, forming that ever closer bond. And through compassion, you value the importance of compassion, not just valuing perhaps other things like economic value or status, but compassion as highly as competition or profit. So celebrating care as an essential to social life and not just a private burden, not for someone else to just get on and do. So what can you do if you're watching this video in order to recognize carers, unpaid carers as community leaders and not just unpaid workers told to get on with it? We need to recognize them, celebrate them, promote the ethos of what they're trying to do, not just see it as just a burden overall, but something that can be extended to the community and supporting grassroots groups that bring people together in the caring, I would say, model. Want to extend to teaching those values of care and community, whether it be in the schools, workplace, local authority. And I've seen models of the focus of unpaid care taken into the local authority, oddly enough. This can be extending into challenging policies that isolate people, but also advocate for connection. It's all about connecting, learning from each other, trust, support, empathy. It's a shared value, basically. So the closing comment, and I've forgotten to change the title, basically is carers don't just look after individuals. Altogether, around at 7 million and more, they model how communities can hold each other up. Now, if we care for our communities as carers care for loved ones, we then begin to build societies rooted in compassion, not division. I'd like to end on that note. This is Matthew McKenzie from A Care in Mind, focusing on the importance of unpaid care, whether you care for mental health, cancer, so on. I think having a caring outlook for the community can only be a good thing. Thank you for watching, and also look after yourselves if you are caring for someone.